Deebo Samuel's trainer kind of looked like. Never mind.
Good shape.
A little bit.
He
Looks like an autograph hound.
Hey, Deebo is a fucking stud, though.
Yeah,
so this
he is.
guy's got to be doing something right. First time seeing Deebo back in Northern California, I believe. Selfie video from his trainer saying, "We about to get paid," and then. He's about to get paid.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Is the Deebo Samuel deal around the corner? Is that what his trainer was alluding to? Is Jimmy G about to get traded? And that opens up $20-some million that they could potentially pay Deebo Samuel, which we thought maybe was going to be the end game in this whole thing. Remember, Deebo and his agent have all the other wide receivers that were on the move.
Yep.
He knows what his market is. He doesn't want to be a running back, doesn't want to take the extra hits, just wants to be a wide receiver. We'll see how it all pans out. But it's good news for everybody, I think, that Deebo's working out, that Deebo still seems to be in high spirits, and that his trainer, who has made this Deebo monster, says he's about to get paid. So much of a team mindset for that guy that he lost it. This is good for the San Francisco 49ers.
Well, and the guy he was talking to on the phone when he was with his stepmother or grandmother, I forget, A.J. Brown, he got the 4 years, $100 million, 57 guaranteed. So you assume it's probably in that area because Tony Dondy is the guy.
Tory
Dondy.
Dondy.
You assume that's kind of the baseline for most of these guys? Because does he rep Terry McLaurin too? And Terry got the 3 years.
I don't think he
70?
reps Scary Terry.
No.
It's A.J. Brown,
DK.
DK Metcalf,
that's who it is.
Deebo Samuel, and it was basically every wide receiver that wanted to be on the move.
Hollywood Brown, too.
Hollywood Brown,
Yeah.
Scary Terry didn't want to be on the move until late. Remember?
Oh,
That
yeah.
wasn't like at the draft time.
No.
Right.
It was free agency time. No, not free agency, deadline time.
Yeah,
And they got that deal done
Right away.
in like 2 weeks. Ron Rivera. So we've been talking to his team for like 2 weeks. We're not going to let him go. Tory Dondy has been setting the wide receiver market, though. That one agent. And what would Deebo get? And I've been saying this for a long time, and I sound like Rappaport after Rappaport gets corrected by J.K. Dobbins, and Rappaport going like, no, I still trust my source
stand by it.
over J.K. Dobbins. I still feel like the Niners could just add a little extra money and say, and also we want some running back reps out of you. I think it's the fact that they were probably not going to pay any extra for him to be a running back as well. Just pay him top wide receiver money and not give him any extra for any running back. And they're like, well, we're not going to take running back hits if you're not going to pay them like that, because wide receivers get paid a lot more money, and wide receivers' careers seem to be a lot longer, and wide receivers don't get beat up as much for an entire season with 17 games. So I still believe there is a chance that Shanahan and Lynch are like, hey, we'll pay you this, and then also we would like some reps at running back because he's a game changer there. He's a fucking X factor on the field. But I hope they get that deal done, because Shanahan with Deebo, with Kittle and Deebo, like basically before every game last year, dapping each other up. And it's like, hey, we go, this team goes as we go. I love it. I can't wait for all the drama to be past us and see these motherfuckers back on the field.
Do you think so? Do they have to do something with Jimmy G to get his contract done? Because I feel like every time one of these contracts gets signed, the first year is always like their dead cap or whatever, their cap hit goes down, like no matter what.
Yeah. Well, that's cash over cap. And that's upfront money.
Sure. That's what I'm saying. Do they have to do something with Jimmy?
Well, as you were asking a question, I said, well, because the cap isn't real.
Yeah.
Sure.
So they don't have to do anything with anybody. They can pay everybody max contract somehow, and they've been able to figure out all the kind of ins and outs of the contracts and how you go about doing it. Andrew Brandt explained to us about cash over cap. So the wealthier owners are at a much bigger advantage than the there's zero owners that aren't wealthy. Okay, so let's not even get into that. But the ones who have a shit ton of cash on hand are able to put this money into escrow that's a guarantee, so the NFL knows that. They're also able to put a massive signing bonus out there that they can prorate over the entire duration of the contract. So what I'm saying is, do they need to get rid of Jimmy to do his deal? Probably not, with how our stance has been on salary cap. But I feel like that has been the, pretty clear. Okay, there's $22 million. There's $22 million just sitting right there. Everybody's saying this other guy's the starter. Jimmy G last year, still $20-some million they could have saved if they got rid of him. But it felt like the Niners were like, we have a plan. Jimmy's our guy. Jimmy's still in the plans. Even though all of us were like, you saved $23 million. You traded all your first rounders in the future to go get this quarterback. How the fuck could you keep Jimmy G around? They did. They had success. Then immediately after the season, Jimmy said his goodbyes. Then they said their goodbyes.
Yeah.
The media said their goodbyes. And then he has that shoulder surgery. Now he's throwing the ball, doesn't have any deep balls. It just feels like the obvious trend here would be Jimmy's contract disappears.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, Deebo is able to get paid. But we've asked Ian Rappaport about that. We've asked other insiders about that. And they've said, oh, that's not necessarily the case. It's like, well, we'll see, I guess. I guess we will see if that's the case or not.
Well, and at this point, didn't they almost kind of miss the boat? Like you look at where all the dominoes have fallen. Like Seattle's the only team that still needs a quarterback, and they're not going to trade him in the division. Like, granted, someone could get hurt and he could get moved on later, but at this point, like, are they going to move him? They're not going to take.
Yeah, I think they're going to cut him.
Yeah, and then because that lets him pick where he goes.
Because nobody's going to give him anything.
Yeah.
Nope. Like, what did N'Keal Harry just go for? A seventh
Seventh
round
round
pick
in 2024?
Yep.
That's hysterical. So I guess Bill got something out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to turn that 7th rounder into a Hall of Famer.
Well, he's probably going to bundle that 7th rounder with another one, and then he's going to get that player, and then he's going to trade that player again, and then he's going to go get somebody from South Harmon Institute of Technology.
Sure, they got a tough program.
They do.
Good school.
Mentally grit, not very intelligent in school, but they fucking can play. But that type of trade, is that something Shanahan and Lynch would do? Or
If they get like a 3rd round pick.
what if they
4th
don't
round
get
pick.
anything? Will they put him as a backup? Would
Can
Jimmy G
they?
be Trey Lance's backup?
Can they? Or
For
would
20-some million?
Or would Trey and the team just be, if Trey has one bad game, wouldn't fans,
Locker room.
Yeah, just
Locker
went to the
room.
NFC Championship.
Jimmy G's loved too. Everybody
yeah.
loves Jimmy G. That's like when Cam Newton in the locker room. Everybody talks about it, like his energy, his aura is going to be distracting if he's not a starting quarterback. And they're like, oh, can't handle Cam Newton. You know, he's not one of the top 64 quarterbacks in the world. It's like, well, there's more to that when you're building a team. You know, when you're trying to build like a guy. And Brandon Beane told us this of the Buffalo Bills when Cam was available, before Josh Allen had got signed, after Josh had his 2nd year but hadn't had his 3rd year yet.
Yes.
So was not a great NFL quarterback as a rookie. He's a rookie quarterback. 2nd year got better. 3rd year got better. 4th year got better every single offseason. Before one of them, Beane was asked by me about Cam Newton being a free agent.
Yeah.
It feels like, hey, similar playing style, similar style. They've been compared to each other. Wouldn't that be a good guy to bring in the building? And Beane said, we are going to let Josh Allen know that we are building all the way around Josh Allen. Like, we don't want there to be any discussion. We don't want there to be any confusion. This is Josh Allen's team. If you bring Jimmy G back, and Trey Lance is there, and Jimmy G's your backup, and he's beloved by everybody. How do you just turn off that switch? I'm not 100% sure how you do it as just a common sense team building, camaraderie building, energy, atmosphere, environment, mindset. I have no idea how you do it. But Jimmy G's been able to handle every situation with grace and class, so maybe that's the case.